My father came to Miami, and we actually settled in High Pines, which is right next to Coral Gables, although everything we did was in Coral Gables because that was our megatropolis. But my father was an agent for the FBI. Initially, he came to track German submarines off the coast of Florida. However, then when I was married, we moved to Pine Bay Estates, which is Coral Gables. So my new address, because we changed our street names, is Las Palmas Drive. So I got a little committee together, and we, instead of 116th, 117th, 18th, and 19th, came up with the idea of trees. So we have jasmine, magnolia, Las Palmas, olivos, and jacaranda. Now, I went into real estate in the 70s. It was very interesting then because we worked with books. They were about this thick. They came out every 2 weeks. So if you wanted to find a house, we'd have to drive around and find real estate signs and call in order to find listings. Our contracts were 2 pages. All that was required was a roof and a termite inspection. And that was it. Of course, real estate offices at the time were 10 people, 12 people. In fact, when I started managing, I had 15, and I said my dream is to have 25 agents. Today, I have 307. So times have really changed, but I just remember we all like to sell the old Spanish homes. In fact, that was my dream, to have an old Spanish home. The architecture and how Coral Gables preserves it. Also, the 50s houses were very, very well built because of all the hurricanes that we had. Some were deco. I grew up in a deco home with all the arches and then a curved dining room in the front of the house. They would have a long living room and a long Florida room, and you'd have to figure out where to put your dining room table. And I have a term that I said, through thick and thin, Coral Gables always sells, and that's why I bought there. And I consider myself a very lucky person to have grown up in Coral Gables. It's made me appreciate history, and I'm so grateful that Coral Gables has preserved its history. And I love being a realtor in Coral Gables.